All right, good morning. Let's take a peek at how we're doing this week and what's to come, and take a look at the overall picture of crypto and what's going on with XRP and the whole market in general. A lot of stuff going on. There was a huge push this morning, so let's get straight into it. And I don't want to have you guys waiting for so long, so let me pull up some of our usual and we can go straight into it. So crypto bubbles, we are looking all in the green. For the hour, we are not looking like 50-50, more red. For the day, we're looking all green here. And then for the week, we are looking all green. The year is looking solid as well too. And then our market cap is up. XRP's up 9%, which is really good with all the losses that we've been taking. And then Bitcoin is at 1.5%. So, all right, let's take a peek at the economic calendar and then see if there's anything else that's going to be going on this week holistically to look at our macro economics. So we don't have anything going on that's going to be released today or tomorrow. I mean, we've got some of the bill auctions, and then we've got Veterans Day tomorrow, and Fed Williams, Fed Waller, so a couple Fed speeches, and then we've got crude oil, and then jobless claims reports, and then jobs. Okay, so we'll have something Thursday just to take a look at. Anything else on Friday? I don't see anything else on Friday really. Okay, PPI. All right, let's take a look at crypto market cap. So we are still in fear. Altcoin season pulled back and market cap is up 2%. And Bitcoin is down 1% for 7 days. And then we are up right now almost 7% for XRP. That's interesting. So let's see how that's going to look. And then for the day, we're up 9% for XRP. So we're sitting at 250, 252. And I think that's always a good sign, right? Our low, I believe it's still probably going to be that 150. Where I was having a lot of FOMO. So, no, we're at 208. So these are pretty solid. 208. So if you got in at that low range, congratulations. You guys got a steal. Even right now, it's good, dollar cost averaging. I was waiting for it to dip a little bit more in order to get, into my buys. But that didn't happen, right? That's something that I was looking for, but it didn't happen. Okay, nothing else that I see that's going on. We've got the usual ETF news, so listings are popping off. And then we've got a lot of signaling of the official approvals can come within weeks. So we're still pending some of that. All right, let's take a look at Webull. And I was looking at Ether, which is not looking too good right now for some of my covered calls that I usually do. But I'll wait for, a couple of days to see how the volatility is. And I might get into a position, maybe later in the week or in a couple of days. All right, let's look at XRP and see how we're doing with XRP. Okay, so for the day, I'll be still looking at the ranges of upwards. If we hit this resistance, it's going to be at 267. Then we should see a upward move to around the $3 range. And then the lower leg, we're going to be looking at the 218. And then this is where I was looking for the 190, where I was going to start loading up. just be cautious. RSI is sitting kind of relatively high from what I can see. So we'll see if we can actually break past that. And we're sitting right at the 250 range. So I think we're going to be teeter-totting for a little bit for this week until we can get some more traction. But look at that. The EMA's crossing over to the moving average. It's always a good sign for the 4 hour. So let's see if we can hold above the 252. All right, so that's how we're looking, and we are still on a upward trend for the day. All right, let's take a peek at Perplexity. So let's see what else we've got here. All right, how XRP doing this week and fundamentals. Okay. Dismiss here. All right, we are up 7%, 253. It's about the right range. Previous close 237. XRP is trading around 254, rallying upwards to 8 to 10% in the past 24 hours. And we've got some of the macro catalyst, meaning the biggest news driving the rally was President Trump's announcement of $2,000 tariffs funding for stimulus checks, which sparked a rush of retail and speculative crypto buying. Very similar to the COVID era. And then we've got the ETF momentum still in place, and we'll see. We'll see how that's gonna look. We've got some of the technical risks. So if you're out there with the short-term plays, just watch out for the technical risks. We've got the price is still beneath major moving averages. Around 262 and then 280, and a death cross looms. So watch out for that. The break above the bear flag resistance is at 242, and then has invalidated the immediate threat of a plunge to 169, but XRP needs to hold above the 250 for continued bullish reversal. So I believe that. I think that's true. We talked about it just a little bit earlier. So yeah, then we've got some of the utility growth, DeFi products going on. So we got the G Treasury within the partnerships, and then we've got Ripple Prime that's going out, and then regulatory clarity. So the next breakout or sell-off will likely be based on the ETF news around the regulatory events. Yeah, that's the summary for this week. XRP rallied sharply to 254 following that stimulus headlines, and we've got ETF excitements, a lot of hype right now. But once the ETFs get released, then I think that's where the true utility is going to be as far as getting into the stock market. And those of you who don't want to get into the actual asset, you can just use the ETF. So that's going to be launching. I'm going to be doing some covered calls and the will strategy on that. So let's check it out. All right, that is all, team. So if you like this type of video, please like, subscribe, leave me a comment below, and have a great week. Catch you guys in the next one.